Good afternoon and welcome to today's live demo. We want to thank you for taking the time to join us for this presentation today. My name is Angel Monteroso. I am one of the account executives, part of the enterprise division here at Bretford. With me, our locker engineer, Dennis Hay, will be helping us with some of the technical questions and help us explore a little more about how these lockers operate. One of the things that has really become the reality over the last 18 months is different challenges that different verticals, different industries have experienced. From the perspective of managing devices, whether it is in the K-12 environment or higher ed at universities, colleges across the United States, corporate environments, right? The enterprise, whether we're talking about distribution centers, transportation, logistics, shop floors, and even hospitals. They have all faced different challenges, and we have been really working with them side by side, being able to offer a solution that has been proven safe and efficient, how to address some of these most important tasks at hand. We're going to go over different verticals. We're going to share with you some real life scenarios on how we have been able to help these customers. And for the most part, we're going to paint a picture. We're going to paint the picture on how these lockers can be deployed. We're going to go over the software that is really the behind the scenes brains behind the operation that allows for these lockers to be truly smart lockers. And we're going to go over the way on how these can potentially be deployed for your solution. Without further ado, let me jump into one of those verticals. We talked about the K-12 environment. If you recall, a lot of these schools, they were faced with the task on how to efficiently deploy technology to the students. Whether if it was a laptop or a tablet, they needed to find a safe and efficient way on how to get these devices in the hands of the students. Well, TechGuard Connect lockers were able to help schools do just that. By means of deploying these lockers in the entryways and the vestibules in the buildings inside the schools, students will get notified that their devices were ready for pickup. Well, then they will come by, and whether it was with an ID or by means of a PIN code that had already been assigned to them, they could easily access their devices and be on their way without any type of contact or interaction with anybody, and everybody was just being safe, and keeping all that COVID protocols. Now, fast forward 2, 3, 4 months down the line, and some of these devices potentially needed some repairs or maybe some updates. Well, they could initiate an IT ticket, and then they would come back, be instructed to come back to one of these lockers and just swap out these devices. Say that the IT department wanted to keep one of these lockers fully stocked, right? And this will probably apply more for, say, faculty, right? For a way to faculty to be able to access them, a spare device that maybe needed to be loaned out for any period of time. Well, IT is able to keep laptops in there, and by means of an Ethernet cable, an Ethernet connectivity that is inside each bay, which can be customized depending on your needs, the IT department was able to push updates to these laptops. So they don't really necessarily have to come back and get all the laptops out, take them to the office, and just do the update. It could all be done remote. Furthermore, IT department was able to keep logs by means of our Bretford Connect software, which Dennis is going to help us understand a little bit more how it all works out. But the idea is that the IT department will be able to sort of keep tabs on the interaction that students, employees were having down to the bay level. Now, let's shift gears a little bit into the other side of education, high ed. Now, campuses, as we know, closed down, but schools started doing the remote method of teaching. They would ask, again, the students to maybe come by, maybe borrow a laptop for the semester. They would deploy technology to faculty, and it would be the same workflow. Right? Now, Since schools are now reopening again, a new workflow has become available to the students. As the students are now returning to campus and they're going to be spending a little bit more time on site, they're going to be able to utilize these lockers as a leisure charge, as a charging station. So imagine some of these students running around campus, between classes, and as we all know, we have found ourselves our devices not being fully charged, and we still have the majority of our day ahead of us. Well, these students are going to be able to stop on by one of these lockers. Maybe they have been installed in public areas, right? Maybe the libraries, and open up, create a PIN code on the spot, and then access one of these bays, put their devices inside, whether it's a phone, a tablet, a laptop, it doesn't matter, because each bay could easily be outfitted with an AC outlet, a USB plug, and they're going to be able to charge it. They're going to be able to close the bay, walk away, right, and then come back later and pick them up. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the enterprise. In the enterprise, we have environment where it's either the devices are going to be assigned on a one-to-one basis or they're going to be shared. Think of a distribution center that has multiple shifts in a 24-hour period. So early in the morning, you have the first shift coming in, and they can walk up to the locker using their ID badge that is already equipped with an RFID chip, scan it, and then their pre-assigned bay will pop open. The employee can retrieve their devices and go about their day. At the end of the shift, come back, return it, and then management is going to be able to have the chain of custody visibility, so that if at the end of the day some of these devices are not there, they're going to be able to start looking into it, right? Maybe it has been misplaced, maybe it was still out being utilized. It could be many, many different scenarios, but the important thing is that these companies are going to be able to protect that investment that they made on these mobile devices and really control the access that employees will have to these devices. Now, let's talk about the healthcare environment. Very important, right? Over the last 18 months, they have been throwing a lot of challenges. Whether it's deploying technology for patients, deploying technology to medical team, whether it's doctors or nurses. And what we have learned is that traveling nurses, traveling doctors, are now playing a key role due to the need pretty much across the U.S. of these folks having to travel from building to building, from state to state, and then the ability of having a dedicated bay that is just for them, so that they can just walk up to it, use their ID badge or a PIN code, and access, their laptop, their iPhone, or any device really for that matter, right? But they know that there's something waiting for them there. So, as you can see, regardless on what the vertical is that you are looking into, or the various workflows that you might be faced with, the TechGuard Connect Locker is a great solid solution. It could really benefit your customer from the perspective of controlling the assets, controlling the deployment, having visibility into chain of custody, and really helping these institutions protect that. So, at this point, I'm going to pass the microphone on to Dennis, and he is going to help us navigate a little bit more about the Bretford Connect software and how it works. Dennis?
Thanks, Angel, and thanks again for joining us here today. Again, my name's Dennis Hay, and I'm the sales engineer for our TechGuard Connect Locker product portfolio. And I've had the privilege to speak with hundreds of clients over the last 18 months across all the different verticals that Angel had mentioned. Just listening to their challenges, what they're facing. And what I'll say is, not everyone's story is the same. And I mean, I don't think anybody could have foreseen how a pandemic could have affected how we interact with each other's just as human beings on a day-to-day basis, or the fact that we had to suddenly pivot towards a work and school from home strategy. And I really just kind of point this out just to show, I guess, because it just shows how vital technology devices for students, for employees, for workers, just how without a device, how unproductive those individuals can be. And that's really, I think what a flexible locker solution like the TechGuard Connect locker can really help solve. And we're going to demonstrate some of those features for you today through our 3 different modes of operation. So first off, let me just share here. Now, first off, Bretford Connect is a service that's built on Amazon Web Services. So you don't have to install or maintain any software on-prem or in the data center, and you really get that reliability, the scalability of the cloud. You have the ability to manage essentially one to many lockers, whether all your lockers are located at one particular site or location, or if you have multiple lockers across many sites regionally or within other states. And again, you can do that all through a single pane of glass. So the first mode I want to just talk to you about is our shared mode. Angel kind of mentioned this, which is basically that public charging scenario. So basically, the use case here for our lockers is that users can simply reserve an open bay via a PIN code or the swipe of their RFID badge. So hopefully you see on the screen here, I pulled up this locker. This is our Platinum locker. You see that it's operating in the shared mode. Angel, if you could be so kind, could you just sort of demonstrate this on the Silver locker there? It's going to touch the screen, choose an available bay, and then just enter a temporary 4-digit PIN code in this case. Great. So you can deposit that device, plug it in, charge it, then he can close it, and then go out, go grab lunch, head to that meeting, go to class, what have you, and know that he has his devices in there, secure and charging. Now, when he's ready to come pick up his device, to simply repeat that process at the locker, selecting the bay that he originally deposited it in, entering that PIN code, and once it opens and then he closes it, it'll actually clear the reservation from that bay and make it available for the next user. So the second scenario, so let's say you're a company that's implemented a work from home strategy. You're before the pandemic, you probably had employees coming to your desk, or you'd go to their desk to help troubleshoot, repair their device on site. Not really effective now that everyone is essentially remote these days, but they still need that working device. Now, with a locker like this, you can pre-fill it with devices and assign employees to a bay so that they can come into the office, and then they can come back and pick up that device on their own schedule. Now, this is what we refer to as the assigned mode in this case. So what Angel has is he's got a card. He's Eric Cartman, who's a user that exists in our system. He's got an RFID badge that's assigned to him. Now he's going to go ahead, and one thing I just wanted to kind of point out, so that we've assigned him to his bay, and then there's this limited option as well, which I'll hit on here in just a second. So you see that Angel had checked out, opened up that locker bay. So you can go ahead and grab the new device and put the broken device in there and then close up the locker bay. So with that action, basically now that user has a working device, he can go and work, and then IT can now go back and pick up that device on their own schedule. Now, another application that Angel had sort of hinted on is drop off or distribution for these lockers. Maybe a parent wants to drop something off for the school. And what I had pointed out earlier was that limited feature, which was a new enhancement we just recently made, which is essentially provides an added security measure to prevent secondary access to the locker and the contents within. So once that, Angel closes that locker, he's not going to be able to come back and grab that device. But, IT can basically now will have access to unlock that bay through the portal. Now let's just talk about the last scenario, which is a shared pool of devices in your environment. So say you're a manufacturing shop, we hear this all the time about supervisors that are checking out devices on clipboards each morning, which can really create a bottleneck for workers just to start their day. Or worse, there's really no documentation at all of who's checking out what devices, and they can get either hoarded in drawers or cabinets, or worse, they get broken and there's really no accountability for who had that device last. So with our check and check out workflow, you have an accountability system in place to see who checked out what and when those individuals check the device out, and how to hold those individuals accountable. So Angel's going to demonstrate this on the blue locker there. He's going to wave his badge, and he'll be presented with a screen that says, hey, here's all these devices that are available to him. Go ahead and check out one. So you see that he's checked out the tablet and scanner device, and you can close it up. So now Angel can just basically work his shifts, and when he's done, he can come back, wave his badge again. It obviously recognizes where he originally took the device from. When he closes it, it'll show that it's checked back in, and that cycle just simply repeats itself, with no interaction needed by an individual or like a supervisor. If he's not, you'll be able to see that it's overdue, and then from there you can really start your investigation to get that device back. So with that, I hope you found some of these use cases informative on how our TechGuard Connect lockers could benefit your organization to help secure, charge, and manage your devices. And I'll hand it back to Angel to wrap this up and take any questions.
Thank you, Dennis. So folks, as you can see, these lockers, very powerful, very solid solution that can really help different verticals, the different applications, the different workflows that your customers may have. Now, you probably noticed there's some folks asking questions on the chat. We're going to make it a point to answer all of your questions. So if you have been thinking about something to ask, please be sure to add it on the chat, and either me or Dennis will answer those questions for you. Now, before we close out things, I'd like to just touch on a couple of things. One very important thing to keep in mind about Bretford is that all of our products are made here in the USA. We are very fortunate that during all these difficult times that the global supply chain is going through, we're not experiencing those issues. Right now, we're currently working on average of 12 business days lead time. So if you have customers, if you yourself have a tight deadline, if you are looking to do a deployment, not just for the lockers, but for our entire product line in Bretford, give us a call. Call your technology partner. Ask for Bretford by name, and then find out how quickly we can get product in your hands. As I mentioned, we make everything here at our manufacturing plant, Franklin Park, Illinois, just across the street from O'Hare Airport, and we're able to ship across the US. Now, let me just touch on a couple more things with regards to the locker. As you can see here, it's a 10-bay model. We also have a 5-bay form factor that is now going to be double height. Each one of these bays on the 10-bay model is about 3.5 inches tall, where the double height would be about 7.5. So depending on the devices that you're looking to store, to charge, keep in there, you'll have a little bit of flexibility with regards to which one you should go with. I'm going to shift the camera a little bit so that you can see the lower part of the locker. Right here, you see a gateway. Now, this is going to allow for the locker to connect to your building's network. So the IT department, for the installing of these units, you're going to need a line drop for the Ethernet cables, and then you'll have connectivity that way. With regards to power requirements, is your standard power outlet that you will find in any household, so you will be covered on that. Once again, I hope that this presentation was helpful. We're now going to go over some frequently asked questions, and then we're going to go on to the questions that are popping up in the chat. So let's see what we have. What power requirements are there? Well, as I mentioned, just regular outlets will do. So you wouldn't require any type of specialty connectivity or anything. With regards to the connectivity at the bay level, what's available? Well, hey, that's one of the great things about us building and making everything here in the US. You have the final say on what connectivity is going to be down inside each bay, whether it's an AC outlet, a USB, or Ethernet connectivity. We even have this one option called the AC retain, which allows for the employer, right, to provide cables to connect to these mobile devices, but the way that it keeps it in place so that the users aren't able to walk away with the cables. So the cables will always stay inside. The bay sizes are available, the double height and the single height, 3.5 and 7.5. What does the warranty cover? Great question. So Bretford offers a 7-year warranty on these products, and this will cover both mechanical and electrical components. So when you talk about peace of mind and really protecting your investment, Bretford is a solid choice. Can you personalize the solution? Absolutely. As you can see, we have many colors. Even my shirt matches one of the lockers. But hey, you are able to pick from 16 different colors, the palette that we make available to our customers. Furthermore, we can customize it with your company logo, cool logos as well. We can make the chassis one color, we can make the base a different color. So hey, let's get creative and really personalize these lockers and make it your own. Now, let's go on to the chat and see what kind of questions we're getting. And Dennis, I may throw a couple of these your way so that you can help me as well. So we have a question from Chris. Can one tower be used in multiple modes at the same time? Dennis, do you mind taking one?
Yeah, sure. I did address it in chat, but we do only operate the lockers in one mode at a time. However, you obviously, as you demonstrated, Angel, you could have multiple lockers within your tenant. That can be, one lock can be in the shared mode, one can be in assigned mode, and another can be in check-in, check-out mode. But they could easily be swapped or changed on the fly through the cloud portal. It simply sends a signal to the locker to reboot in the new mode, probably no more than 30 seconds.
Excellent. Thank you, Dennis. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? Looks good. Well, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this live demo. But hey, if you have any other questions, while talking to your customers, maybe talking with your internal teams, additional questions pop up, feel free to reach out to us. Visit us at our website, Bretford.com. Feel free to scan the QR code that you see on the screen there with your phone. Reach out to your technology vendor. They have direct lines of communications with us, and we'll be happy to join a call, kind of help you explore this solution as part of your workflows. And ultimately, give us a call at 1-800-521-9614. Thank you so much. Have a great day. On behalf of everybody here at Bretford, we look forward to earning your business. Thank you.